My name is Darrell Whitman. I used to be an attorney, investigator for the Department of Labor and a union steward with the AFGE in San Francisco. And currently, for the past, it's now 7 years, 6-7 years, I've been involved with a project to explore and describe the basic nature of governance in the United States, federal government. So I've been working with a number of whistleblowers to do that. We've tested the system and we have mapped it out, and we now understand the extent of the manipulation by the corporate class of the federal government and why it no longer serves, if it ever did, whatever that it ever did serve the interests of working people, it does not do that anymore. That's very, very clear. So we should all be very cautious when we're dealing with issues surrounding the federal government, because the government is, there's two governments really. There's what you see on the surface, and then there's a shadow government behind that really actually manipulates what the federal government does. So, and that is in regard to everything. It's not on the surface because, today in the modern times, people have a tendency to start looking at things and maybe asking questions. So this has been very artfully concealed from the American people and the people of the world. But its real effect, devastating effect is it's directed at controlling narratives and bringing the working class under more strict control. And that does that in a number of ways. If you look at policy today in the United States, whether it's the COVID policies surrounding this particular virus, or whether it's environmental policy, or whether it's directly about working class conditions, those are all basically under the management of the federal government, which itself is an arm of the corporate political elites. So people should understand that. That's the frame of reference that we need to have when we ask questions about what's going on and why it's going on. It needs to be defined that way. Otherwise, you can quickly fall victim. It's been very carefully orchestrated through the corporate media and marginalized a lot of community groups. That, I've chosen to begin my statement with a quote from Joe Hill, which was in 1915, just before he was killed by the state of Utah. He wrote Bill Haywood, who was the head of the IWW at the time, a very powerful organizing group for labor in its day. And he told Haywood, he said, look, don't mourn my death, organize. Because essentially what he was doing wasn't, as an organizer, he was trying to represent the interests of the working class against the corporate elite of his time. And organizing is the key to representing the interests of the working class, because the working class has primarily only itself as the effective tool to protect its own interests. And in fact, if you look out there, everything that's built, everything that's serviced, and the corporate political elites are very aware of that. And they're very concerned about any attempt to organize the working class, because potentially, if you're informed and you're organized, the working class would be the most powerful force, political force in the country. So they devote an awful lot of time, a lot of resources, a lot of thought, divided, disorganized, and without leadership. So this is the major challenge, I think, today for you. If there are costs, economic costs, environmental costs, health costs, they're going to shift them and get away with it to the working class. And the only way that the working class can resist that itself. So that's the reason that I wanted to begin with Joe Hill's quote, because it is as true today as it was more than 100 years ago, that this is the challenge for the working class. And I would encourage people that one of the principles of organizing is you have to talk to people. You have to talk to people that may not look like you, may not otherwise appear to think like you do. But if they're working class, you have to unite around working class interests. And engaging conversations with people and learning about their lives as working people, you can begin to see how those connections occur and how to strengthen them and how to unite together to struggle for working class interests. So I wish you all, I can't say a happy Workers' Memorial Day, but let's honor those who have gone before, who have fought this fight and have succeeded, at least in some measure, to protect the working class for more than 100 years by following their example, following their leadership, finding your way